Hey guys, Melinda Haynes, license number 102308. So a while ago I saw a video about a mom who was confessing that she yelled at her kids, and she was asking people to give an amen as a response, for her right to yell at her kids is, part of her parenting style. And, I get it, you're an independent woman and you can do whatever you want, you can raise your kids however you want. And, if those little turds would listen, then you wouldn't have to yell, right? Okay, but as a therapist, I want to give you 3 potential consequences for yelling at your kids. Okay, so number 1, kids absorb other people's emotions, especially their parents or their primary caregivers' emotions. They absorb them as their own. This is called internalization. They internalize their environment. So if kids are growing up in constant yelling or chaos, they might internalize it as I'm bad or I'm not good enough or, basically everything's my fault or my parents don't love me. And we don't want to send that emotion. So we don't want to be constantly yelling. I mean, I understand yelling sometimes is okay because you need to really get your point across, but not as just a normal way of communicating. Number 2, kids can feel responsible for your emotions, and then they try to take care of you. They try to parent you. It's called parentization. And we don't want that to happen because they become, it's not parentization, it's parentified, sorry. We don't want that to happen because when we dump our emotions on our kids and when they own them and then they try to take care of the parent, what they're doing is they're learning to walk on eggshells. They're learning to read other people, not in a good way, not in a way of reading somebody so I can connect with them, but reading them in a way to protect themselves. So basically they're constantly in survival mode because they're looking for signs or clues in order to fix things. So if you can see how this would lead to codependency in the future, you can see how it could be a bad idea to constantly yell at your kids and get them to the point to where they're like, oh no, what's mom's or dad's mood today because I don't want to be yelled at. And so now I have to do this dance because that goes into the future as that's the kind of relationship I'm going to find. So if I'm a girl, I'm going to probably marry a guy that maybe yells or that has a personality disorder or something that's very intense. And so I've learned my whole life how to walk on eggshells, how to do the dance. And so I'm going to fall into that kind of relationship. Number 3, and this is most important, okay? Most important, guys. If you're yelling a lot as a parent, and you yell because the toilet seat was left up or the backpack was left on the floor or there's a mess, in the living room or whatever it is, and you're constantly yelling, what's going to happen is your kids are going to learn that you can't handle things, you can't handle life. So when something important happens, let's say a sexual predator is trying to groom them, trying to touch them in a way that's inappropriate, or somebody's offering them drugs, their friend is talking about suicide, any of these very critical things that happen in the teenage years, for example, if your child has grown up their whole life realizing that you kind of overreact or that you yell about things, when these difficult situations happen, they're not going to feel comfortable coming to you. They're not going to feel comfortable talking to you because they're going to be like, oh, she yells when I forget my homework. She freaks out for, an hour. How is she going to handle this? And they're going to try to hide it from you. Now, I'm not saying that these 3 things happen in every single situation, okay? You could have a phenomenal relationship with your children even though you yell. Maybe your whole family yells, you're just the loud family, and that's the way it is. But I did want to give another side to, I can yell and I can raise my kids however I want. I wanted to give this other side because this is so important. We need to know that there are potential negative consequences. And I know everybody, like not everybody, okay, but most of us guys, especially those of you who are watching, want to be good parents. You want to love your kids and you want them to know that you love them. And we don't want to send the bad messages that, the unintentional bad messages that could happen through our blind spots, I guess you could say. So anyways, if you have any questions about that, go ahead and contact me. I appreciate you. Thank you for watching.